What's going on, gamers? Hopefully everyone's having a great weekend. We got some terrible news here coming from Valve regarding the price of RAM from the RAM cartels, as we know, that's getting absolutely atrocious, and even SSD price costs. Valve basically warning people that when it comes to that, it's not going down. So what this means is that the price of PlayStations, the prices of Xbox, and the prices of the Steam machine, if you thought we're going down anytime soon, are not going to be happening, because Valve said this is going to be going past 2026, as they told us, and they confirmed this will be hitting 2027, and we're going to have to wait a little bit longer than that. So this tells you a lot about the delay of the PS6, the delay of the Xbox Series, and a lot of stuff to talk about in this video. So let's get into this. Become a member, leave a tip down below, like, comment, subscribe. Here we go. Valve engineers warn of worsening memory chip shortage and rising prices, as we see this right here. This is absolutely terrible news, because we need this market to get better. And we know now the whole electronic industry is going to be going up, and there's just too much manipulation and monopolies going on here, and it needs to be challenged. We want to talk about law, legality, screw the physical disc, and then this right here needs to go down, because this is the worst right here. This is something that's in effect, and it's been in effect, and it's affecting everybody. And this, to me, is the biggest problem. Engineers at Valve preparing their Steam machine for summer launch, right? Say manufacturers prioritize AI data centers. It's right here. Manufacturers, as we know this, we were talking about this before, this AI bubble needs to stop. Leaving retail shelves 3 to 6 months behind in bulk supply. That's absolutely terrible. So when you really think about this, that means you have limited stock. And even when you do have limited stock, remember what they were saying, that they told them, either you take this price or we won't work with you anymore. Take it or leave it, and goodbye, right? Kind of like an ultimatum that's massively manipulated and monopolized at a ridiculous price, right? So we get the idea of that right there. It says this has driven consumer chip prices up 90% just this year. A 90%, almost 100% increase. Chip prices. That's just, no, man. Like, that's way too much. And I don't understand how they're able to get away with this. This is stupid. With DRAM expected to surge another 50% in quarter 3 2026. Did you hear this? Not only up 90%, but up another 50. That's a 140% price increase. So we're thinking about a 50% price increase on top of what's going on. Yeah, that's not good. And no relief until 2028. Ooh, so, okay, so guys, we need to do a lot of calculating here. So basically what they're saying right here, we're going to get to the main post too. It's just something to think about. You're going to have a 50% price increase in quarter 3 2026, which is pretty much the fall, right? If that's going to happen, and I want you guys to think about that. If you're thinking that the Xbox Helix will be coming out next year, we already know the PS6 is coming out in 2028, then you're naive, because what this means is that if you want to get the parts and start getting the parts, even now it's too expensive. In quarter 3, it's going to go up 50% more. And even if you wanted to say, oh, let's wait for the prices to go down, if you already pay for the parts, they're not going to subsidize. So you're going to be getting charged almost up to $2,000 for that thing, or a little bit cheaper if they want to subsidize, right? Because it says it right here, and no relief to 2028. So how are you going to get your parts ahead of time and start building it, and then make the dev kits, and send that out to people, and then start mass manufacturing? That takes time to do that. You need like a year plus to do that. So that's not going to be happening till what, 2028? And it ain't coming out till late 2028 at the earliest. A little bit more than that, unless they want to get it out. But guess how much it's going to cost? You see what I mean here? That kind of makes things pointless. This is absolutely messing up everything. The PlayStation 6 has to get delayed too. Yeah. Hey, I'm telling you, no earlier than late 2028 at this point. We're kind of seeing this right here. PC builders report RAM kits jumping from $190 to over $900. What? That's absolutely insane. Think about this. This is literally almost pretty much a $710 price increase. Do you know how much, like, why is this happening? Like, I don't understand, like, how much more sick can this industry get And also the people that are governing, that are sitting there watching this, not realizing that this right here is like what you call psycho behavior, like going way off on a deep end. These people need to be fired and sued. You shouldn't be able to go this far. Like, this is absolutely stupid at this point. Like, there's something where it's called, oh yeah, they're manipulating, and then it's like, this is obviously going way, 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 way too far. And the only people that are really getting affected by this are the consumers. Yeah, sure, some suppliers are, but if they're making millions and millions and hundreds of millions, like, really? I mean, they're all right, but the common people, not even close. So this right here says a lot. What the hell is this? This just gives you the idea that some console prices may go up again. They're forcing it. This is what you call like 7 deadly sin greed right here. It's just not human. Prompting calls for optimized games, which you should have been doing. But remember, we talked about this. The positive thing that's going to come out of this ridiculous greed bubble is people going to realize they're going to need to optimize their games because they're not going to be able to have ridiculous specs, developers, and because it's just going to get like that. And that everything is going to need to be able to run a full 100% optimized. And frustration over AI dominance of 70% of global memory supply. It's taken 70% of the world's memory supply consistently, which everything else left out of that is up to everybody else left over. Yeah, that's a lot. So you see right here, Valve says the global shortage is improving, warning that RAM and SSD prices are likely to keep rising. So we got SSD prices coming up next. There's no light at the end of the tunnel, says Valve. Honestly, it's still getting worse. Valve says memory manufacturers are focusing on the high-end chips for AI servers, leaving less supply for consumer hardware. Things that were commodity items a year or two ago, now you have to negotiate really hard to just secure a few thousand. There's not going to be a ton of Steam machines. I was trying to tell people that. Same thing with the Helix, because Microsoft's not going to spend that money on that. They're going to focus on data centers, and they're the ones that are into that. And there are so many more people in line in front of you. Valve sees no improvement anytime soon. See, they're telling you what's going on the ground with their Steam machine. Things that were commodity items a year or two ago, now you have to negotiate really hard to just secure. He said just a few thousand. That's a limited amount of stock. And there are so many more people in front of you. There it is right there. The cat's out the bag. Valve is coming and telling you that. Now, I want you guys to let me know what you actually think about this. We're going to actually go down and see what people have to say. Tekatari says, the world when it's my turn to be an adult. Yeah, I know, right? As a reminder, Sony now thinks it is a good idea to hold all your games digitally on a hard drive instead of an optical disc that is not being affected by RAM and SSD shortage. Well, like I said, that digital monopoly kind of works together. Now they're going to be able to make their own SSDs and charge whatever they want according to certain markets, but they're not the ones that control this market. We're kind of getting the point here. Digital monopoly feeds into the SSD shortage. That's why you hope that if Sony's doing that PS6 cloud compute download, where you only download a small portion of the game and the rest is up on the cloud, that's actually going to be nice. But by the time the PlayStation 6 comes out, 2028 will be here, and those prices are going to tank down. So, but I get what he's saying, though, for the meantime. Can't wait for my next PC build to cost even more than a used car just because ChatGPT needs to generate more AI videos of cats dancing. Yeah, I mean, this AI feed is getting just way too out of control. George says, RAM prices keep going up, yet he does nothing, wins. Stupid post. Just stop kissing ass at this point. Jamskin says, this is what you get when you essentially have a cartel in control of supply. Yeah, we know what's going on over there in South Korea. Why do you think Microsoft was so mad last year when they didn't get that deal? They know what's going on when it comes to that. Apple got one of the best deals with Dell and Asus and Lenovo. Google as well. And they were firing people because they wanted to get some deals as well. The South Korean monopoly needs to be challenged. This is absolutely insane. And what the hell's going on at Micron as well? So We need more people manufacturing RAM. China needs to step in. But I have a feeling there's something going on with that too. Good Lord. Alexa says, this is really terrible. I keep hoping the prices come down, but they keep going higher. I wonder when this will end. I think a lot of people do. Selenor says, I was in Shanghai a week ago, and over there's no RAM shortage. See what I tell you? Or no crazy prices, which leads me to believe here in the U.S. there's collision between RAM distributors, suppliers to keep our prices high so that they can profit more off of dumb U.S. consumers. Ding, ding, ding. Right there in front of you. AGN was just saying. Funny, huh? Waste insanity. Time for Valve to open up their own memory pipeline and make bank by undercutting the memory cartel. All this is manipulation to make more money. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and the people that do not understand what's going on, they're just getting manipulated. What this person just said is exactly what I'm talking about when you have hidden hands in play, along with other people too who are acting like it's affecting them, like Nvidia and all them. But really, they're not. No, Nvidia can supply more. They're just choosing not to because they're doing the same thing. Microsoft is doing the same thing. You see, all this stuff is working together to destroy your not only gaming world, but the rest of the electronic world too, because it's affecting everything. Because all the new stuff that's being developed is practically needing RAM. SSDs maybe not, but RAM more than anything. That's why it's the most expensive. Everything needs memory. You see? So, I mean, I'm just really annoyed about this because not only was the Steam Machine console generation affected, Nintendo Switch 2 console generation is affected early in its life cycle. PlayStation 6 is going to be affected vastly. And Xbox Helix, whether it was or not, still nobody was going to buy it that much. But now more than ever, it is just pretty much dead in the water. You can pretty much guarantee that. If I was Microsoft, I would cancel it. Unless you want to wait till 2028. I mean, because at this point, who's going to want to pay like $1,500 minimum? I don't even think at that point now with the way this is, who's going to want to pay $2,000 for an Xbox Helix? Nobody in the world. Only some like super hardcore enthusiasts or people who have like a couple, you know, 6 figures in their account, or like millionaires or people who just want to be dumb enough to go and spend that, right? It's like, I'm not going to waste my time with that, right? I'll get a PS6 though, because that's going to have exclusives. That's going to have a future. That's going to have a nice install base. And I'm going to be able to carry over my PS5 digital library and be able to play everything a lot better. You know, other than that, like, it's just looking like they're literally screwing over gamers until 2028. At least we have an idea that this will pretty much pop in 2028. But until then, we're going to have to be very patient. So like I said, guys, pick and choose your poison at the moment. I was telling people last year when the PS5 Pro was $650, that's the best deal you're ever going to see in a long time. That was insane. And they were selling the other ones for like $399 and stuff like that. Crazy, crazy deals that were going on. And the Switch 2 was not, overpriced or anything. Now you're starting to see what the way the market is going. Nintendo has to subsidize. That's why they're only doing a $50 price increase. And they were waiting all the way to September. I think they may jack the price up of the Switch Online, to be honest with you. I wouldn't, put that out of the ballpark. It's been the same price for damn near 9 years. Going on 10 years almost. So let me know what you guys think about this, as usual. Leave a comment down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, become a member if you want for $3. Leave a tip. Guys, we need to hope that these people get challenged in real life, because they can't keep getting away with this. This is like I said, this is psycho behavior, right? When you really think about somebody being able to take something from 190 to 900, that's way too far off the deep end. Tell me you don't agree with me. Remember, keep on gaming no matter what platform you're on or app. Later.